edition of Hannity. Now for the next hour, we're going to do something you will not see on any of the state-run legacy mob, any other network. We are now, as of Sunday, 6 months into the presidency of Donald Trump, his historic second term. So tonight, we're going to cut through all the manufactured drama. We will highlight exactly what this president has accomplished in this very short period of time. Coming up, we'll be joined by the Director of National Intelligence. Breaking news tonight, Tulsi Gabbard, Deputy Chief of Policy, Stephen Miller, and other special guests. Look, it's not a secret that I have been a longtime friend and supporter. I've been very transparent of President Trump. But even I am frankly amazed at what he has been able to do against all odds in such a very short period of time. What we're living through, you better take, really close notes, because you most likely will never see this again in your lifetime. The single most consequential, transformational presidency in our lifetime. And without a doubt, the underlying theme of the White House, promises made, right, promises kept. Tonight, we begin at the border. President Trump made the vow many times on the campaign trail to all of you. Take a look.
Starting on day one, I will seal the border and stop the migrant invasion. We will carry out the largest deportation operation of criminals in American history.
Okay, check the list. He did it. He kept his promise. We went from the most illegal border crossings, unvetted, in history under Biden, Harris, Mayorkas, which, by the way, was the most preventable national security threat in history. The worst thing he ever did. We have known terrorists. We have assassination squads. We have murderers, rapists, other violent criminals, cartel members, gang members, and drug dealers. They let him into the country. And now, in 6 months later, we now have the lowest illegal border crossings in history under President Trump. Less than 6 months. There was 0 illegal immigrants released into the country last month. 0. And meanwhile, deportations, they are well underway, now fueled by a record amount of funding for ICE and border officials because of the One Big Beautiful Bill. And speaking of which, this was a monumental bill that many thought would never pass. But on the campaign trail, Donald Trump made this promise to all of you. Again, take a look as a reminder.
And we also have something that's basic, but wow, people said, you're really smart. Where the hell did you think of this one? No tax on tips. So if you're a waitress, a caddy, a driver, but maybe better, no tax on overtime.
He did it. He got it done. Despite a razor-thin majority in both the House and the Senate, no tax on tips, no tax on overtime. The single largest tax cut in American history, or we would have had the largest tax increase if Democrats had their way in American history. They didn't care about American workers. They didn't support the bill. They don't care about people paying taxes on tips and overtime. Also, tax relief for Americans that are on Social Security, and the president's 2017 income tax cuts for all Americans have now been made permanent. Every single American who pays taxes, you will all benefit from this bill. But remember, the president didn't just promise to lower taxes, he also vowed to tackle the insane ways that the federal government is spending, wasting, abusing your hard-earned money. Take a look.
I will create a government efficiency commission tasked with conducting a complete financial and performance audit of the entire federal government and making recommendations for drastic reforms. We need to do it. Can't go on the way we are now.
Doge is up and running, and their website claims the average American, that's all of you, taxpayer, is already saving over $1,100 a year, and cuts are still being made. For example, USAID was exposed as a multi-billion-dollar slush fund for left-wing causes all across the globe. Not even spent in this country. USAID, that has been shut down for good. Last week, there were big layoffs at the State Department. And breaking today, both NPR and PBS just finally lost their federal funding. We have been talking about defunding them for decades. Their free ride and their propaganda programming is over. although I guess you can get it on 3 networks and 2 cable channels. Now, both far-left outlets can continue to spew woke, radical, far-left propaganda, but you won't be forced to pay for it with your hard-earned tax dollars. It is clear President Trump does not like seeing all of you getting ripped off, not by their own government. And we got to stop robbing from our children and our grandchildren. And by the way, he doesn't like when we get ripped off by foreign governments either. Take a look.
We were ripped off by every nation in the world, and some of the worst rippers were our so-called allies, people that countries that we supposedly get along with, but they're the ones that took advantage of us on trade.
Now, President Trump is using tariffs to negotiate new trade deals with virtually every country in the world. A handful of nations have already come to terms, and others are now incurring steep tariffs. By the way, it's their choice. The days of America, our country, all of you being ripped off, taken advantage of, they are over. Critics said this plan would result in massive inflation. They were all proven wrong. Not only did the tariffs help fund a $26 billion federal budget surplus in June, the first surplus in 20 years. Since 2005, inflation has gone way down as under President Trump. By the way, as promised, take a look.
We will defeat inflation quickly, and we will make America affordable again. We're getting your prices way down.
At one point, inflation, remember, over 9% under Biden. When he left office, the price of eggs was skyrocketing. Under Trump, those prices have come down. Inflation is almost non-existent. Over the 4th of July weekend, we saw the lowest gas prices we've ever seen since Donald Trump's first term. And that's not all. The stock market is now booming. Crypto is booming. Record job gains. The job market surpassing all expectations. Income is on the rise, just like his first term. Remember, record low unemployment for every demographic: African Americans, Hispanic Americans, Asian Americans, women in the workplace, African American youth unemployment. It's all happening again. And $11 trillion in committed monies for manufacturing. That means pharmaceuticals, that means semiconductor chips, and that means automobile manufacturing. All coming here on top of energy dominance and independence. That is the foundation for an incredible golden era for our economy. A remarkable first 6 months in office, and so far we've barely scraped the surface. For example, the violent crime rate is going down, murder rate way down, colleges capitulating, now blocking biological men from competing in women's sports. Now they're even apologizing for their actions. Donald Trump stopped Iran from building a nuclear weapon, #1 state sponsor of terrorism, preventing them from having that powerful weapon, and he did it without starting a forever war, as some predicted. The world is a much safer place. China finally getting tough on the fentanyl trade, and a trade deal with President Xi and the Chinese has been made. Rare earths, magnets, things that we need, and they'll get access to our markets, but they're still paying tariffs. A violent riot in Los Angeles, that was stopped right in its tracks with the help of the National Guard and the U.S. Marines. Department of Education, we've talked about getting rid of this for decades. Done, dismantled, and I can go on and on. All in a short period of 6 months. Just a little over a year ago, Donald Trump literally came within a millimeter of losing his life. A year